Today, we will be discussing a crucial topic for achieving success in our interconnected world: overcoming the challenges of networking and collaboration. In today's fast paced and competitive environment, the ability to connect with others and work together efficiently has become increasingly important. Welcome to the Skills Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Benga Lawal, author of This Space, Your Place. Dive in with us into Power Mind Results as we'll explore talent, skill set, and experience. If you're ready for a giant leap into success accomplishments, this is the space. This is your place. Get ready and let's get started. Networking and collaboration are essential in our personal, business, and professional lives. These vital practices involve building relationships with colleagues, exploring new opportunities, and fostering partnership with other organizations and outlets. The advantages of effective networking and collaboration cannot be overstated. Today, we have a special guest with us, Abba. He's an accomplished research consultant who has devoted his career to teaching and conducting research. He has worked as a Commonwealth Academic Staff School in the United Kingdom. He has taught in the university. In addition, Abba has actively participated in Commonwealth development and education policy processes. He has taken part in summits and roundtables organized by the Council for Commonwealth Education and the British House of Lords. Abba Krisilolu, welcome to the Skills Mindset Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Yes, this is your first time on our podcast. I know you've attended our masterclass about 2 times, but it's a great time that you have you on our podcast, which I believe it will reach out to many of our audio, listeners. And because again, the topic we are looking into today is very important as to how many people will be benefiting from it. So it's a great time to have you, particularly when you are in-depth knowledge and expertise in this area. You've worked in you work in networking and collaboration with some organization before, and you still keep doing that. So navigating the complexities of networking and collaboration can indeed be deterring. Overcoming the challenges that may arise requires specific skills and strategies. Today, we will focus on addressing the main issue at hand: how to overcome these obstacles and effectively harness the power of networking and collaboration. So, Abba, your outstanding contributions have been recognized through research fellowships, collaborations particularly, and awards from esteemed institutions. How do you envision networking, opportunities, and collaboration amidst this current economic and social dynamics?
Thank you. Thank you very much. First to say thank you to you for inviting me to join your podcast. Of course, like you mentioned, I've taken part in the skills masterclass before, and those were positive, nice experience for me. So I'm looking forward to this being also a rewarding and positive experience, not just for the two of us chatting here, but also for listeners who would listen into this either now or later when it goes live. Um, First thing I like to do is to give some parameters as to what I conceive as networking. In other words, what exactly are we talking about this evening?
Definitely.
We're talking about networking for business, but networking does much more than affect business. Networking is, in fact, the reality of day to day living. We are a social species. We are designed, or we've socialized as human beings to interact with people around us.
Yes.
And nobody, the saying goes, is an island. For everything we do, there's nobody, not too many people on earth today caters to all of their own needs. So we're all in a different areas of careers, of economic activity, of network of friends and interests. Some are farmers, some
Yes.
are teachers, some are researchers, some are broadcasters and podcasters. You cannot be a jack of all trades. So
Yeah.
if a teacher is going to eat or drive or fly or do whatever else, the teacher is going to need other people, other professionals, other service providers to get their needs met. So
That's
whether
true.
we like it or not, we are networking. The point
Mm.
or the angle that we want to measure on today, as I understand it, is how do we pay attention to the fact of networking for business.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, we go out and spend our income, our salaries, our profits, or whatever to achieve the things we need. So if I need to buy a car, I'll get my money and find a dealer and buy the car.
Yeah.
I don't try to go and manufacture a car myself. I don't have the competence. That's not my area. Um, If I need to eat all kinds of food from potatoes to vegetables to meat to fish, I'm not going to get up and try and go and raise an animal for beef or go and start fishing in the river for fish or grow my vegetables or grow my potatoes. Again, I'm just going to network. In other words, I'm going to put my cards in my wallet, get in the car, drive to the supermarket. Some have done other aspects of the logistics. And in the supermarket, I buy what I
Yeah.
need. In going to the supermarket to buy what I need, I am reaping the benefit of networks and collaborations that have preceded the satisfaction of my own need. So,
Yeah.
how do we therefore look at how some of those networking are arranged
Mm.
and use it to power business, to leverage interaction, and to
Mm.
drive some economic benefit for the society, for ourselves. I think that's what
Yeah.
our discussion is about. If
Yeah.
you say I've captured it well, then we'll go further. But if I've missed it and I'm talking completely off course, let me know as well. So we redefine until we start.
Yeah, no, that's good. Because again, you have, in your own words, giving us, a perspective to what networking really is. I mean, as you have, clearly stated, many of us wouldn't think, or majority of people would think that, well, not all things that we do, even in relations to others, is networking. But you've just made a point where, you know, sometimes it's not because you have designed it or because you are conscious of it, but
Mhm.
already the system has provided sort of networking for you to get you by and get you going.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, and that is what has gone ahead before you can be satisfied in what you do. And obviously, there are other conscious activities that you put in place,
Mhm.
I will presume, that you intentionally now want to network specifically with certain people or certain groups or do something. And the networking approach there could be temporal, it could be permanent, it could be a long term relationship or short term relationship, depending on your goals and what you want to achieve.
Correct.
And I think that is what you have actually presented, which is good. And while you are talking, there are a few things that were coming to my mind. I'm not sure
Mm.
whether we should jump into that now, but I don't want us to lose the momentum, the kind, the progression of this discussion, because I was actually going to say that, you know, some people, deliberately get into the habit of networking with people
Yeah.
and then of course get a lot of things done,
Mm-hmm.
are all for their benefit. But I know networking is a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I know collaboration is deeper in terms of, trust, and then working together for common goals. You want to achieve, specific goals that is beneficial to the parties, not only to one person, or one party
Mm-hmm.
at all. So and looking into the economic and social dynamics of man, you've just said it at the beginning that the reason why we network and move is because of the social dynamics that man or human being is. We are no one is an island. We all
No.
move around. While you move around, you look for people who can complement what you want to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
and then they support you to achieve it while they're also looking for your own support
Mm-hmm.
to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fantastic the way you put it,
Thank you.
in that words. You want to say something?
Yes. As you said, the reason why I took time to make the fact of networking obvious and pedestrian is so that people don't
Yeah.
treat networking like one fantastic concept that does not touch them. It touches everybody.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody
Hmm.
networks, but
Yeah.
some people network
Yeah.
better than others. And one of
Yeah.
the reasons by which some people network better than others is because they are conscious about what they are doing. It's I'll use another um, obvious illustration. We
Hmm.
all breathe. If you're alive, you're breathing.
Hmm.
But for the major part of our lives, we don't pay attention to the fact that we're breathing. We breathe
Hmm.
automatically.
Yeah.
However,
Hmm.
there are some who use the fact that we breathe and use it to enhance their health. And they will sit
Hmm.
down, they will meditate, and they would consciously think of the breath they are drawing and
Hmm.
expelling, and being
Hmm.
conscious of how they breathe and the pace at which they breathe, how deep they breathe, how they hold their breath, and then let it go,
Hmm.
does something for their bodies physically. It improves
Yeah.
their health. If I
Hmm.
push that analogy, what I'm saying in effect is that, again, we all network, but some
Yes.
people have mastered it better, that they are
Hmm.
deliberate about networking. They have goals about
Hmm.
networking. They put it to use to do business, to
Yeah.
drive social activity. I play sports, for example, I play tennis and I coach it
Hmm.
too. One of the funny things about playing tennis is this: if you don't network well enough, and you just grab your rackets and your balls and you put on your shorts and your whatever
Hmm.
and turn up at the park or at wherever the tennis courts are, you may find nobody to play with sometimes because nobody else is
Yes.
there at the time you turned up. You may turn up
Hmm.
and there are those who are networked to come in pairs or in groups of four to come and play. And because you are surplus to requirement, they won't call you. If you
Hmm.
are approachable enough, like I am, and say, guys, I want to play, can I join you? It's not
Hmm.
all the time that they'll say, oh yeah, come and join us. Some of them will tell you, no, sorry, we play as a group and we don't have a vacancy. The person who turns
Hmm.
up at the park with his tennis equipment and cannot play hasn't networked properly enough. So one of the things I used to do when I moved into a new area some years ago, and there's this lovely park next by my house and fantastic tennis courts there. I had to consciously go there, look for people who turn up to play, whether in units or pairs, and I don't let them go after we may have chatted and played. So, do you play regularly? Would you like to
Hmm.
exchange numbers so that we can
Hmm.
call each other up when we're coming to play? That's networking. The reason why
Yes,
I'm
that's
doing
true.
that is not for any other reason than that I don't want to turn up at the court and there's nobody to play with.
Hmm.
That's just for
Hmm.
something, a hobby. If I
Yeah.
was going to organize it even better, I said I coach. That's because I trained as a tennis coach with the um, Lawn Tennis Association. If I
Yeah.
wanted to exploit the fact that I'm a coach, I would still need to network. I would need to tell people around, well, I coach tennis, so if you like to improve your game, I can offer you to tuition. Or if you've got
Mm.
children you like to introduce to the game, I can teach them how to play. I'll have to put up posters and advertise
Mm.
and let people know that I've got a service I want to render. So networking, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to emphasize,
Mm.
is a essential aspect of living. We can't escape it.
Very true.
Being conscious and organized about it is what makes the difference. Whether you are reaping good reward from networking or you are
Yeah.
living a haphazard, disorganized existence because you don't network. People you should
Mm.
network with, they don't even know you exist because you don't bother to make the connections. And when you
Wow.
need them or they need you, you don't know you both exist, and therefore you
Yeah.
suffer
That's true.
unnecessary deprivations on that basis.
Yeah. They don't even know that you got what they are looking for,
Exactly. Yeah.
or they can even offer you some support when you
Uh-huh.
needed it, because you,
Uh-huh.
yes, I think it is essential to cultivate, from what you just said, a mindset of openness and
Yes.
approachability when it comes
Yes.
to networking. I think
Yes.
it's more of an intentional thing. You have said very clearly that many a times we are unconscious of the fact that we network.
Mm-hmm.
You meet people at the train station every day, you
Uh,
say hello to them, and you just thought that that's
uh,
just courtesy.
yes.
Sometimes it's gonna, we need to be intentional about it by
Yeah.
embracing a welcoming attitude.
Yes.
We create an environment that
Uh,
encourages meaningful connections,
uh,
and that will foster some level of collaboration.
mm,
you know um, you said something again, that networking is not just about exchanging business cards or collecting contacts,
uh-huh.
because you do that, but it's deeper than that. It's about
It
building
is.
genuine relationships based on
Exactly.
trust and mutual support.
Exactly.
And of course, it's for the common good
Uh-huh.
of the parties,
Uh,
because it will come to a time that you'll be required, and then you can only get support from the circle of networks or
yeah.
connections that you got.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get things done, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where you make life easier for yourself. Now, can you
Absolutely.
just share with us, about a personal experience of how networking has made a significant impact on your, either your business or your career, even though it could be because of the sport you do or games you play,
Yeah.
and then that has translated to something bigger or better or
Okay.
deeper.
All right.
Can you just share with us
I,
if
I
that will
will.
help somebody there?
I
Yeah.
will. Just as you asked that question, examples flashed through my mind. I use one very recent one. 2 months ago, July, I was in Nigeria practically for the whole of the month, and I went back
Mm,
to one of the universities that I taught at in Nigeria, the
yeah.
now Olabisi Onabanjo University. Um, it was called Open State University then. And of course, I met
Yeah.
up with some of my old colleagues, the head of department, and some other colleagues. The current head of department in the department where I used to teach, which is History and Diplomatic Studies department, was my former office mate when I was still in service some 22 plus years back in Ogun State
Mm,
University. So we were cracking joke. One of my friends, Professor Lubome, he said, "Yomi, do you remember that you were the one who arranged for me to go to my first international conference in year 2001 or something?" I said, really? I didn't remember. Then he reminded me. And of course, it's true. And
yeah.
what happened was as simple as I got the call for an international conference at the University of Leeds, and there was an opportunity to create specific panels, special panels within the conference. And I thought, rather than just take off and go and attend a conference all by myself? Why don't I create panels? And that's what I did. And I invited colleagues both from my department and actually from other universities. And some of those networks that I built, they are friends till today. So I can count on the fingers of my hand, not less than maybe 6, 7 professors in Nigerian universities, which goes back to that simple act of networking way
Hmm.
back 20, 22, 23, 24 odd years back now. So that's an example of networking in my own
Hmm.
experience that worked. And it actually
Yeah.
does leave behind tangible results. The good thing about
Hmm.
networking too, one of the points you made as you were speaking just now was that networking sometimes is seen as exchanging business cards. Yes, and it goes beyond that, just like you said.
Hmm.
Somebody said something, and I'll drop this here because it's important. If you go to, say, a business meeting, business roundtable, and you exchange cards, the person advised, and I try to follow the advice, says, make sure you make a follow-up contact immediately. Email them or
Yes.
whatever else, or send them a text message and said, "Hi, this is Bengal Lawal again. By the way, we met at the
Hmm.
conference earlier today, and that was an interesting thing we were chatting about. I hope
Yes.
we'll get round to have some further discussion in the future and see whether we can put some of those ideas into practice or operationalize them
Yeah.
and just leave it there. Because again, if you actually don't do that, I've collected cash in the past. I didn't follow
Hmm.
up on any message. Months, weeks, and months later, I pick up the card and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
who is this person? Whose card was it?
That's true.
You're forgetting who you
That's
collected the
very true.
card. You're
Of
forgetting
course.
the
Of
discussion you had. So it's actually in your
yeah.
interest, before you forget who you spoke to and what you were discussing, get on your laptop or on your phone and send off an email.
Hmm.
Hi, this is
Yeah.
Abayomi, and
Yeah.
we were just speaking earlier today, or we spoke yesterday, or we spoke last week, just in case
Yeah.
people don't do it immediately. We spoke, we
Yeah.
chatted about
Yeah.
XYZ. And
Exactly.
I
That's the
found this
point.
point you were making very interesting. And I've actually worked in that area, or I'm doing something in that area, or
That's
I
good.
enjoy the fact that you play tennis too. I've got this fantastic park next to my house. And when next you're free, let me know. Let's go play tennis. Just build up the momentum and take it
Yeah.
forward. So we can translate all of this into whichever area, especially for business. Another
Yeah.
illustration that came to my mind to reinforce the discussion about networking is this. It's great when you've already narrowed your audience. So, for example, I go for a conference on education. Already, the majority of those you run into there will be in the industry, either teachers, lecturers, researchers,
Hmm.
education providers, aspiring education proprietors, or whatever else. So you are likely to find people in that area if that's where you operate.
Hmm.
And the example I use, and I'm much older now, but I jokingly say to young people who'd say they are struggling to meet a partner and date, and I said, look, you have no excuse not to find dates in this day and age. We dated in the days where social network didn't exist. You are much more likely to meet your partner if you run into each other either in the supermarket or the church or your social circle. It has to be physical contact. You can, for example, 30, 40 years back, be living in Nigeria and be chatting to or dating somebody outside of Nigeria. It won't happen because you are in
Hmm.
Nigeria. You are limited to where you are at. The internet has changed the calculus. Now you can
Yes.
chat and relate and date people from the other side of the world that you've not met physically. And if the date is real and genuine and it's not a neither of you are scammers trying to steal money, pretending to be dates when you're not, you may actually go on ahead and travel and meet each other and become a pair. So again, that's
Yeah,
networking. So for example,
that's true.
any young person who is looking to form a relationship, whether to date or to marry, and they are not on dating sites, they are being very, very unserious as far as I'm concerned. Get over yourself, get over any funny mindset that you may have. Oh, I don't want to be on a dating site. If you want to date, go to a dating site. Why? They remove
The
the
network there.
yes, remove the fact that every place has its own dangers. A dating site, as it happened, has become the hunting ground of scammers and terrible people too. But you put
That's
in
true.
proper safeguards. You
Yeah.
don't connect with somebody and is telling you fantastic stories that are too good to be true. If the story is too good to be true, then it's not true.
Check it out.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't meet anybody that is a stranger, even if you've been chatting on phone or online or by WhatsApp. You don't go meet them in their house or invite them into your house. You go to a public place, meet in the coffee shop where everybody is. In fact, take a friend along and tell the friend to sit across the street and let the person know. By the way, I have my friend, but she's just saying that we're just gonna have our own time to chat to meet up. So the person knows if you play funny, then somebody is gonna call the police. Yeah, yeah. Take precautions, but if you want to date, go to
Yeah.
a dating site. Why will you go to a dating site? You want to narrow down to those who want what you're looking for. When you walk on the
Yeah.
streets, you may go past the person who wants to date, but nobody carries a sticker on their head saying, I'm looking to date. Everybody just dresses up and goes out to do whatever they need to do. Go to the office or go to the shops or go wherever they are going. Even if they are aspiring to date, even if you exchange glances and you're like, oh, this looks like a perfect person I'd love to date, you still won't see a sign on their head saying, I'm ready to date or I fancy you. The place where you can begin to narrow down to zone into those who are looking to date is a dating site. That's effective networking. So if it
Yeah.
goes for dating, it also goes for business. If you want to do something in an industry and you want to collaborate, because if you collaborate and leverage numbers, you would improve your potential for significant growth and progress. Then look for such persons. You want to go into real estate, look to find those who are in that area, builders, entrepreneurs, investors, refurbishing guys, and do business together and
Yeah.
collaborate together. That's how you're going to move forward. If you sit in your house dreaming you're going to do something forever and you don't network, there's a very slim chance that you will get anything done. Your
That's true.
dreams will die with you and it will join the very many dreams that are buried in the cemetery. So we either network or we die with our ideas. It's as brutal as that.
Wow. 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 That's very deep, sir. Because I mean, there's no way one can achieve anything without the support and network with people who can help you do it or support you to do it. You
Mhm.
talk about even construction, for instance.
Yeah.
You looking at construction, there are lots of different experts working together on the same project. It's all
Uh-huh.
about people bringing in their expertise to ensure that the
Yes.
building can stand. They will say
Uh-huh.
you at the end of the day, they will say, who built this house? They will be pointing to the owner,
That's
but
true.
whereas you are not the one who built it.
Oh, good illustration. Perfect illustration. And
Yeah.
let me crack a joke.
Yeah.
My sister is a lawyer. Her
Yeah.
daughter, my nephew, is an architect.
Uh-huh.
I live here in the UK. I've lived here in the UK for going on 25 years now.
Yeah.
And again, as is normal, you meet people from Nigeria and friends and old acquaintances. Say, oh, Yomi, come and build a house in Nigeria. And I say, what do I need a house in Nigeria for? Oh, so you can, when you come, you can stay in it. I said, what are the hotels there for? If I'm a bad enough person that I go to Nigeria and I cannot stay in my father's mansion in Abeokuta, or I can't stay with any of my siblings who's got houses all over Lagos and Nigeria and Abeokuta, and I don't have friends I'm going to stay with, worst case scenario, I stay in an hotel. I don't need to build a house in Nigeria because I don't live there. Even though I spent like a whole month of July in Nigeria, that's still no excuse to build a house in Nigeria. It's part of the kind of wasteful mindset that we have. Anyway, I'm beginning to digress. When I went back July of last year, my sister had developed some like three duplexes she was going to sell and building another one for the family. They were building themselves a new home. They were going to move from where they were. And the daughter, the architect, is in charge. And I went into one of those units. I loved what I saw. I loved what I saw so much. I, grown up a Bayobi, changed my mind. I said I was going to buy a house in Nigeria. That's just to illustrate the point you are making.
Yeah.
Some will build, and you look at it and you're like, who built this rubbish? I saw a property and it made me change a fundamental position that I had, that I would own a house in Nigeria. I loved what she created, and I said, I like to buy this. And my nephew said, Uncle Yomi, don't worry. When you're ready, I'll bid you one. We're going to sell this one. And that was the end of the story. I got back to the UK, and months later, my sister said, Yomi, Temi said you are interested in the in that unit. And I said, yes. So why didn't you tell me? I said, she told me not to bother, that you're going to sell it. That one, you should have told me. I would have sold it to you. Now, again, we can draw
Yeah.
inferences for networking from there.
Yeah.
That's my sister that when I was in Nigeria, I was staying in our house. Her driver was driving me all over. We were going out and eating and socializing. I didn't open my mouth and tell her I want to buy one of the properties you just built. Because I said to her daughter, I like it, and then she discouraged me. I didn't tell her. I didn't follow up my network.
Yeah.
So I lost the opportunity. In other words, if I would
Yes, sir.
open my mouth last year, July, and said to her, okay, I've changed my mind. I would like to buy this property. I probably own a house in Lagos now. Yeah. Again,
Yes, sir.
it's just to illustrate the importance of not just networking actually, but effectively following it up. When you've
Exactly.
made the contact, take it forward. Don't network
Yes.
for business and then you become friends and you forget why and how you met originally. So I met somebody at a business network and I said, oh, let's do this business together. But by the way, you play tennis. And then we started playing tennis. And then 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years after, all we're doing is meeting to play tennis. And we didn't discuss the business that brought us together. Then we didn't quite network effectively. We've
Yeah.
downgraded the network from a potential business network to just social connection
Yeah.
network.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
still social business and social
It's
connection
good.
network is
Yeah.
good in
But it could be
itself,
deeper.
but
Yeah.
it can be deeper, it can be better,
Yeah.
especially if you became friends and you're playing tennis and you actually understood each other better and you realize you share values and that you are compatible.
Yeah.
There is no better time for you
Yeah.
to take it next to the next level and do a business together than at that stage. Yeah.
Yes, you are quite right. As we know, networking and collaboration These are multidimensional, aspect of life or relationship. I mean, talking about personal relationship with your family, with your friends and colleagues, and then you're also talking about group relationship or group networking. Because again, we know that it is very important to invest time in this, in doing this, in expanding our network and seeking opportunities for collaboration, isn't it? I mean, it's very essential that we actively participate in business event, conferences, and professional organizations. Not only allow This will not only allow us to meet like-minded individuals, but also exposes
Yes,
us to new ideas and perspectives. And that means that we got some things to
it
do
is.
intentionally,
Uh,
stepping out of our
uh,
comfort zone and engaging with others. By doing that, we open our doors to new opportunities and potential collaborations.
yeah, absolutely. Some of the quick ideas that popped in my head as you spoke includes the fact that one, in our networks, we should not only seek to benefit from others, we should make a practice of becoming
Contributing
relevant
values, yes.
and giving also. In fact,
Yes, that's true.
um, I'm trying to see a way to illustrate this. If we live by the principle of just giving of yourself generously to people around you, when you have the need, they would almost naturally come to your aid unless they are damaged people. And of course, there are damaged people who also populate spaces around us. But that's part of your task as
Definitely.
a person to also evaluate people. When you, so um, I'll give you another example. I was with my son at a large supermarket about 2 days ago. And as I walked past one of the display stands, because I made eye contact and smiled and basically formed a brief network with one of the workers in the supermarket, manning a different stand to sell, to share free samples of something so that if customers are interested, they will buy. She then noticed that in our trolley, my son had put a big tray of muffins. And then she said, "Oh, if you want that muffin, it's two for the price of one. Go and take another one."
Wow.
Yeah, that's the benefit of just brief positive networking. If I just gone past her looking like, "Who are you? You're not a human being," or treated her like, "Oh, common shop worker," we don't connect. She probably will still be thinking, look at this man looking like he owns the world, and processing that negative thought. He won't even notice my trolley. But because there was a smile and an openness to, "Oh, hi, how are you? How are you doing?" She looked at my trolley and saw, "Oh, you've got that muffin. Go and get another one. Because whatever they charge you for this, a second one will not cost you a penny more." So
Yeah.
we got a free extra muffin because we networked. So again, just give positively to the next door person and maybe be proactive about it. Again, I've given good example. Let me give a bad example. One of the places where I lived before, I had neighbors, but apart from saying hi hi when we run into each other trying to enter the area, we didn't interact that much. We were so not well interacted that when it comes to December, we wanted to give them a Christmas card. We didn't know their name
Wow.
as a family. So we wrote from number 8 to
To
number
number
9
4.
to number 9 and popped the card through their letterbox. They
Yeah.
also sent us a card back and wrote from number 9 to number 8 and popped it in our letterbox. We were next door neighbors, but we really didn't interact. We didn't network. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
oh wow,
negative
that's
example. Why? We didn't know each other's name. And we actually lived side by side for,
yeah.
let me see, about 8, 9 years. I still
Wow.
don't know their name. And they don't know our names either. To us, they are number 9. To them, we are number 8. That's it.
At least, at least you know each other's number.
Oh.
Well, that's interesting. Um, you know, yes, networking is. I would like to ensure that not only because we meet people and talk to people,
Mm,
get to know people,
mm,
get to know who they are, what they do, and not, just those basic things, who
mm,
they are, what they do, and how long or what they are interested in. Because, like you said, if they just mention their interest, that could be the connecting point.
mm,
And then you can then move into what they do so that they can, oh, you want, for instance, if it's a builder, for instance, and you want to do something, you need second
mm.
opinion, even if you're not going to use them,
Yes.
they will lend you the service of free consultation, if you go
Mm,
what I'm saying. And it's not because it's free that's why you're looking for that, but they can sincerely tell you that no, don't do it this way, do it that way.
mhm.
Do you know something happened just yesterday? Yesterday was Wednesday,
Yes.
and then there's a friend it was a client. He became a friend of mine.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
so and then we've been friends, from South Africa, and
Oh,
then
okay.
we've been friends here for a long time. And it was just yesterday that I just thought about him. It's been a long time. I've
Mm.
not seen him for maybe 6 years, 5 years or
Oh,
more.
wow. Okay.
But yeah, or something like that. So I
Mm,
just thought of him and I just, you know what? I just rang him straight away.
mm.
And he lives about 20 minutes away from me.
Okay.
So he said, oh, how are you? He said,
Mm.
did you know what? How did you just call me now? I'm
Okay.
actually relocating tomorrow.
Oh,
I
wow.
said,
Okay.
what? I said, what? He said he's going back to South Africa. He spent about 8 or 10 years in UK. He wants to go back now
Okay.
to meet with family and settle down with some members of family. The
Okay.
children are grown ups. Everybody's graduate and married. He's a
Okay.
grandparent
Okay.
now, and
Okay.
he said a lot of different things. And I
Yeah.
said, wow, that's interesting. I'm happy for you. I'm gonna miss you really,
Mm.
and he said that, oh, I'm getting off all my stuff and all that. And that as I speak with him now, he's just preparing his car for those who are going to come and move the car away tomorrow to come and move it. And I
Oh,
said,
okay.
what type of car is it? And
Yeah.
I'm looking for a car for my son.
Oh, okay.
And he mentioned it. I said,
Mm.
you know what? I'm coming for it now. He said, please
Okay.
come.
Okay. Oh,
I
wow.
went there. We sold the car. I brought the car home. And he
Mm.
called those guys coming to say, don't bother coming.
Uh,
The car is
yes,
gone.
now. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we don't. This is not the platform to tell you how much, the car was given to me for,
Okay.
and it was just a, and and that could happen. That deeper
Yes.
conversation could happen because we had relationship.
That's true.
So
That's
it's
true.
not just that he came to me to do business or I went
Mm.
to him to do business. It's also because we can talk personal things,
Uh-huh.
and I know
Uh,
what is all about, and he knows
uh-huh.
what I'm about, and we
Yes.
can support each other on that
Yeah.
level. And
Yeah.
that is the power of networking,
And there's no there's
and
no there's no stronger validation of a good business service delivered than that your client happily becomes your friend.
yeah,
If you didn't render a good service, he won't stay in touch. It's as simple as that. That he stayed in
exactly.
touch and you can still call him several years later and he's like, ah,
Mm,
know what? I'm on my way out of the country. Oh, blah blah blah, and he's chatting with you freely. And
mm,
oh, I've got a car. I'm going to this. But I want to get a car for my son, and you could do that.
mm,
It's also a validation of the fact that you not only network well, you deliver your services well.
yeah,
Those are the things that come together. They're part of the
mm,
very many different strands that merge to build
Mm.
effective networks for business and for
Mm.
meaningful life. Yeah. So
Wow.
again, we we're not only talking about networks, we're talking about some of the pitfalls and some of the
Yeah.
strengths, some of the opportunities, and some of
Yeah.
the things that weaken it, as it were.
Yeah.
So it's about developing a mindset to begin to see life as essentially a
Wow.
series of networks.
Wow.
It's to
Wow.
build a picture that impresses on people that you are as good, you are successful, you are strong as the quality that
That's
you
your network.
bring to the
Exactly.
people around you. I can
Mm.
only be in a good, positive network if I'm a good, positive person. If you are a
That's it.
negative, selfish, greedy SOB,
Hmm.
I didn't swear, I only give you the acronym.
No. I get what you
Nobody will
mean.
stay in touch with you. They will disengage and go away. So, again, an essential part of networking for successful business is that you are a
Hmm.
honest, fair, considerate person.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
not,
Too.
you may make contacts, but that's what is
Hmm.
going to remain. You make
Exactly.
contacts, you have a one off business, and they'll
Hmm.
never come back. Not only
Yeah.
would they come back, when they hear your name, they will warn others, stay clear of that dude. He's so dodgy, you don't even want to, you don't want me to start. You don't want to do that
Hmm.
unless you are an immature, uneducated soul.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
mature, educated soul knows that some call it karma or whatever. What you sow, you will reap. The
Hmm.
kind of person you are, the kind of sincerity with which you engage others and render service and receive service would
Hmm.
always speak for the future. So anybody
Hmm.
who will come to what we're talking about, which is networking for business,
Wow.
networking for life in a
Yeah.
positive, growth oriented manner, must learn to be a good person, must learn to be a
Definitely.
positive person, a fair,
Hmm.
balanced, considerate person. I just thought I would throw
Wow.
that in while we're there.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, it was one of those questions I was going to ask, that what kind of things people need to look out for when they want to network. But let me ask this question as well quickly because of our time. It will be two, but you can attempt to address them in one. Now, what are some common mistakes, clear mistakes that people often make when attempting to network, and of course, what are the
Okay,
most significant
there will,
network challenges
the,
you encounter, and how did you successfully overcome that?
okay. There's so much to say, but I want to say them in a logical fashion so that we can
Yes.
remember them. The
Yes.
first thing
Thank you.
is, don't overstress yourself in trying to network. Let it grow with some level of spontaneity. In other words, do not be so eager trying to make connections, you become a nuisance.
So it's better to
So,
build relationship first.
yes,
Yeah.
so one of the things I can do
Trust.
naturally, and not everybody would be exactly the same. I can say hi to practically anybody, I can chat to anybody on earth. Train station, bus stop, swimming pool, wherever, I can strike up a conversation. It's easy and normal for me, it's natural. Not everybody is like that. In fact, I have a friend who had commented a couple of times and said, "You can talk to anybody and you connect." It's like, well, yeah. So in a sense, maybe I have some advantage if it's coming to initiating networks. However, one of the explanation that I would give for that is that I'm not looking at anybody like a target. I'm just throwing out a line to say, hi, fellow human being, hope you're having a good day. And if they're not having a good day, I can wish them well. I can still brighten them up with a smile or whatever, and I can go my way. So I'm not overeager to make connections,
Yes.
but I'm also not shy as to see somebody and not be able to compliment them. I can compliment
Hmm.
an entire stranger. Oh, you look
Hmm.
beautiful. And it doesn't mean I'm interested in dating them or relating with them. It's just what I've seen, and I'll say it and proceed.
Hmm.
Some will find, not again, I'm emphasizing that we're all slightly different. There'll be people who would struggle with that. You just comment everybody, just comment. I find it normal and natural. I don't have a problem with it. So, if it's possible, people should cultivate to be free, to be confident in themselves, to be able to say hi if they want to, if they need to, if they're persuaded to. It may lead to a connection which may prove
Hmm.
useful. So I've said hi
Yeah.
to you, and after I've said hi to you, I discover I'm not even sure which platform I'm meant to be on. I can follow it up and say, sorry, which platform do I need for trains heading to Central London? Oh, you're on the wrong platform. Crossover. Do you understand?
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like that. What else was I going to say? Again, sometimes when you're looking to make a connection, there's none readily around you that you can't see.
Hmm.
Again, don't stress yourself out.
Hmm.
It may work out, you may find, it may not. You may have to wing it on yourself on your own. And while you're winging it on your own, normally eventually you'll meet somebody. I mean, if I
Hmm.
say I'm getting up from here now and I'm heading to Dundee in Scotland, and the first
Hmm.
thing that occurs to me is that I don't know anybody in Dundee. That's fine. I may not know anybody in Dundee. But if I then set out my plans and say, okay, I'll look for Airbnb or an hotel and head out to Dundee, I may get to Dundee. In fact, if I do get to Dundee, I will meet people in Dundee. I may
Hmm.
form connections with people in Dundee or not. I don't know. But the possibility are there. So let me use a real life example. I mean, a year, 2, 3 years ago, I
Hmm.
had business in Scotland now and again. And I went to Edinburgh, went to Glasgow a couple of times. One of the people I met in Glasgow were now friends. Is a bishop. Well,
Hmm.
I didn't know he was a bishop then. I was at one of the universities in Glasgow, and he saw me and walked up to me and basically commented, um, "You look, you look." He complimented me basically, and I
Hmm.
complimented him back, and we started chatting. And it
Hmm.
turned out to be a Nigerian. Maybe the initial um, commonality was that we're both blacks. I don't know.
Hmm.
However, he took the effort to step forward and like, "Hi, how are you?" Uh, and they paid me a compliment, and I returned the compliment, and now we're
Hmm.
friends. So
Wow.
again, point I'm making is, and well, I then invited him over to my hotel for dinner. Unfortunately, he was busy, he couldn't come.
Hmm.
Right. So bottom line of what I'm saying is you will run into people again and again unless you live in a cave somewhere, cut off from all of social
Hmm.
realities. If you live in towns, villages, urban centers, you will run into people and again. Make a practice of just saying hi
Hmm.
and chatting, and then time may come, you may realize, oh, oh, you are XYZ. I need your service. Or and the guy will go, oh, you are I need your service. You may network like that.
Yeah.
I think I just covered two. Is there another thing that's occurring to
Yeah,
me or to you that we need to
you're
cover?
good,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
of course, maybe you have an experience of a of a significant network challenge you encounter, and how did you successfully overcome that? Because one of the problems is
Yeah.
that a
Mm,
lot of people must have learnt a lot bitterly in bitter experience
Okay.
in
Mm,
trying to, and I thought you have addressed the some of the strategies one could have used in trying to network.
mm,
They've got
mm.
they've landed themselves in some, environment and some groups
Yes,
that
yes, yes. I think I get the picture you're
they
painting.
they
Let me
find it
come back
difficult
in
here.
now. Let me come back in now because some ideas are occurring to me.
Yeah.
Yes, you're very, very correct. Networks can turn terribly awry. They can burn you badly. So therefore, the caveat, the caution to have at the back of the mind is that, especially if the person you're going to network with is relatively unknown to you. If you know them well, you probably already know the kind of person they are, whether they are trustworthy or not. So if you're going to build a network and you have very little information about that person, you should proceed with caution. Do not put in anything, especially finances, that could be endangered. If I'm going to relate with somebody I don't know really that well, there must be a level of basic evaluation that I will make of who they are before I'm going to part with my money to them. If you're parting with your money willy nilly, there'll be people who are not straightforward, who are, call it a spade, scammers, who would very happily scam you of your money and your resources. So you want to work against that. You want to do little things to check them out. So I had this old uncle. He's dead now. He's a lawyer. He's one of those who, I mean, when he was here in the UK, he took I don't know how many law degrees and masters and whatever. Anyway, he used to live in Abeokuta. One of the things I noticed about him is when you go to visit him, he will ask you the same question in like five different ways. He will ask you subtly. You won't realize he's asking you the same question. I, what I deduced is this: is trying to check for facts. If you are
It's
telling the
checking you
truth,
out.
if you are telling the truth, the answer will not change. Okay? But if you were lying, there's a chance that when the question is rephrased in a different way, you go in a different direction. He will catch you out. So again, do that with people. Basically, turn the same question around in slightly different versions. If they're consistently saying the same thing, uh, the way I put it is, you don't have to remember the truth. It will be
Yes,
constant.
it's the
But
truth.
if you are lying, you need to remember the lie you told. So if you lied that you have three children, and then like a week or two later, I ask you, "Oh, how's your child?" I've reduced the number of your children from multiple to one. And you didn't correct me that, "Oh, my children are fine. Although my child is fine. You have just one now. You had three or four last week. Now you have one. I've cut you out." So find very subtle ways to
Yeah,
find out whether people are truthful and trustworthy.
yeah.
But essentially, don't part with your money quickly. In fact, I also say this: do not part with your money easily, because if you introduce money into any challenge quickly, you will distort the possible solutions.
That's
Money
true.
is a lazy man's answer for every question. Money does not answer every question. In fact, the first way to make sure your answer is efficient and effective is to fashion an answer that does not require money. If all the answer you can give is money, 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 you are not only wasteful, you are immature too. So, because you want to be sure that you are not only protecting yourself, you are also protecting people around you and people you are going to network with. Anybody,
That's
I'm
very
speaking for
true.
myself personally now, Anybody who
mm,
is inordinately agitated by money, once you say money, their common sense flies out of the window. They're not logical. They can't. You can see their eyes go wide, green with envy. I'm not good. Yeah, you
mm,
won't even be my friend because you are a damaged person. You don't
mm,
have intrinsic self worth. You are only a slave to money. And money does not exist. That's a discussion
mm,
for another day. Money is a social invention for control. It's the means by which government gets you to leave your house to go and work because they'll tell you
mm,
they're going to send you bills. If you don't pay your council tax, they'll take you to court. Because you want to pay your council tax, you go out, have to go and work. It's just an invention, human invention to order society. Now, if
yeah, no,
anybody is so immature that that thing that is created to serve society dominates them and basically deforms them into worshippers at the false altar of Mammon, then they can't be my friend because I choose to have higher quality friends. So you want to check the strength of your networks
yeah,
by making sure these are
wow,
people who can resist the lure, the filthy lure
mm,
of money. They're not people who are going to jump up and take a gain that is not theirs, who are ready to steal other people's resources. If you have those kind of characters in your network and you do business with them, you will end up at the very least with a lot of injuries and agonies. If you're not careful, you end up with major injuries and they may cost you practically everything. So
yeah,
you want to check the quality of those you're going to deal with. One of the other problems or challenges I've seen with networking, at least in my circle,
yeah,
is that again, while I counsel against not being wasteful with money, there are those who are also irrationally fearful when it comes to money. So
mm,
they can never collaborate with people because they are so afraid they can't extend their resources. Oh, that looks like a good idea. Let's bring our resources together and let's do it.
mm,
They can't bring out money when eventually they should bring it out. Again, those ones won't work. They probably may just remain
mm,
social connections. They won't be business. They may have the means, they will hoard it. If they hoard it and you can't convince them that, look, not just apply yourself and this network and a bit of your resource and let's grow your money, let's grow your resource. If they can't be convinced, as many people are not, you can't build a business network.
mm,
So part of it may
that's true.
have to do with finding a way to let them realize that you can do better. You've got five talent. I'm using biblical speak now. You've got
Mm,
five talent. Let's go trade with it so you can get 10. Don't be like the one who looked at his talent and said, ah, one talent. What are we going to do with this? And then buried it. I mean, come on. That's an irrational response to a talent. You looked at talent in your hand and you buried it.
and the best you can do is to bury it.
Aha. Don't bury it unless it's a seed. If the
Mm,
talent is in your hand is a yam seedling or a
mm,
tree seedling or a vegetable seedling, yeah, bury that one. Because when you bury it, it will germinate and grow and reproduce
mm,
a multiple. But if it's not an organic thing that will grow, do not bury it. Utilize it. That's the
mm,
important thing. So again, the challenge for our community is getting people to get out of their worries and fears, their cages, their
yes.
prisons of fear and mistrust that they
Mm,
can't go for. But you can't blame them because you can't just trust anybody.
yeah.
The other very practical thing I say is this. Some of the things I've done in the past has been this. With my younger sister, with a friend. Oh, bring stuff from the UK. We'll sell them clothes, shoes. And I said, look, are you sure this thing? Oh, it will work. Just bring them. The money that I know I can relatively lose and it would harm me. I did
Mm.
buy a lot of clothes and shoes and blah 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 in sales. I
Just
took
test them
them and
out. Test
I
them
said,
out.
yeah, exactly. And I said, look, I gave one portion to my younger sister and the other portion to the other lady. I said, look, this is test run. Let me tell you the terms and conditions. Go and sell them and bring it back and then we share it. I'm hoping I will get my capital back with a little interest. And you will also smile to the bank. If you go with these goods and you come and tell me stories, that's the end though. It will never happen again. You are on test. I'm warning you. This is not hidden. They both went and they didn't come back with any result. And that's the end. It's as simple as that. And I can understand, at least for my younger sister, how she went the wrong way. I warned her, I said, look, don't sell to anybody on credit. Let them give you the
Mm.
money and then give them the clothes or shoes or bags or whatever it is they want to buy. If you release any goods to anybody on credit and they started using it, they will not pay for it. You've just given them
Yes,
a
of course.
gift. Yeah? You are not under pressure. I'm not telling you you must give me my money back in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever. Just make sure you sell it for profit. My sister got convinced by somebody who has a boutique who said, bring it, I will sell it for you. She gave it to the boutique person. She sold it and didn't give her a dime. I said,
Wow.
anyway, long story short, that's still the end of it. Because I warned you from the get go that this is a test run. You failed. I'm not giving you any other thing. Go to another point. Yeah. So that's
Hmm.
it. People, I say to people too that you must help people to help themselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
So one of the things we do, since we're Africans and the two of us are Nigerians particularly,
Hmm.
one of the things that happen is that people will send money to people in Nigeria and tell them to do X, Y, Z. I'm not saying don't do that, but make sure you put in some fail-safe measures so that your money does not get diverted. Because very, very easily your money will get diverted into this Nigeria.
With
Yeah?
stories.
It's going to happen. It's not that it may,
Yeah.
it will happen. So you sent him like uh, 500,000
Hmm.
to continue on your building project. And the guy actually genuinely has to pay school fees for his children. They have not had breakfast. There's no lunch. There's no dinner. They're going to starve to death. He will use your money to feed and pay school fees. And there's actually no problem. I expect that to happen. So, what I say to people is this: if I'm going to send somebody to go do XYZ,
Hmm.
nothing is free. Don't look for free. When you look for
Hmm.
free, you're looking for disaster. If I'm going to ask you to go and do XYZ, how much is a fair reward, pay, salary, whatever it is you're going to call it, that you give to you for this service?
Hmm.
And pay it. So if I should give you 100,000 to get the job done, make sure you give the person the 100,000, whether it's your brother or a stranger. It doesn't matter whether they are family or not. Pay them their due wage. That's when you help them to become honest. Then they can know that if we do your job, when the next batch of assignment comes, there will be my own pay too. And I
Hmm.
can plan on that.
Yes.
Don't send people on errands. Oh, go and do that for me. I'll see what will happen after. No, you are a stupid person because you are deliberately fouling up the waters. You ask him to go and do XYZ. He's going to transport himself there. If he has a car, he's going to fuel the car. He's going to spend his own time and be running around doing your own business. And you didn't pay him for it. And you said he used your money to pay for school fees. Why would he not use your money to pay for school fees? He will. and he use
That's
your
true.
money to have lunch too, and he has a right to do that because you didn't pay for it. You are fooling yourself that you are going to get free service at somebody else's expense. So, well,
Wow.
that's part of the explanation that I know why these things don't work.
Mm.
Do not expect free service. Press them.
Mm.
Look, and but we have some of these very funny, stupid things we do as Africans. I've got a friend or an acquaintance. He's a mechanic. He's a mobile mechanic.
Mm.
Oh, because I've been kind and generous and helpful to him on very. I'll take a car to him. He will fix the car. He'll be reluctant to charge. I'll be insisting. You must tell me what my bill is. I must pay
Yeah.
you. It's a wrong mindset.
Hmm.
You've worked. It's your livelihood. Don't offer me free service. And people should stop taking free service too. It's
Hmm.
theft. It's wrong. So again, maybe the important thing to say here is we should get over this African mentality and mindset of deciding to render gratis for free
Hmm.
our livelihood.
Hmm.
Charge for your service. You can apply
Yeah.
discount if you want, but please charge for your service. And Mr. Networker, you to pay for the service that you are commissioning. That's the only
Hmm.
way your network is going to be meaningful and it's going to be sustainable and it's going to go forward. If you don't
Hmm.
do that, you're setting yourselves up to fail because somebody will eventually wake up and smell the coffee and realize this is no network.
Yeah.
This is an exploitation.
Yeah.
This man is taking
Yeah.
me for a fool, and
Hmm.
it will end.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for that. Actually, yeah, just on the note of what you just said, networking is not also not to take things. I mean, not to it's not to take things for granted, but it's
Mm,
rather to do things properly. If you are in a network and you're collaborating with some people,
mm,
the whole essence is to make sure number one you're able to communicate the
mm,
intention and whatever you are doing clearly, and then of course you document what you have to document. All you want to do is to ensure that both of you can be happy at the end of the day. Say it's a win-win situation, and it's
mm,
support for the both of you, or for the group, and then that should be documented. That should be, and there's nothing wrong in that. If marriage can be contract by law, I'd
mhm,
wonder what meeting people and networking with people on in an event would not
mm.
also translate to such things, just to make sure that people know what they are doing, they know their limit, and they know their bound, and then they can work within the regulation. And I think it's fantastic
Mm.
because you get a lot of things done. Because I'm not sure at this age and where the future is going, that
Yeah.
networking is not taking the center stage, because
Mm.
that's the way to go now to get things done. If
That's the
nations
way
can be
that
doing that,
that's the way things have
people should be
always
doing
been.
it.
That's the way they would
Yeah.
always remain. The difference between those who know it and those who don't is the difference
Hmm.
between those who succeed and those who don't. Those
Wow.
who know that network is real and crucial, they've gone ahead to use networks, have
Yeah.
built successes, they've
Yeah.
built businesses, and they're making
Wow.
progress. The people who
And
are wringing their hands and wondering, what am I not doing correctly? Why am I still on my own? Why am I suffering like this?
ah,
Are the people who don't realize that
they
networking
need to
is
step
going up
out.
ahead. So
They
when
need
they
to
wake
step
up
out.
and smell the coffee, they will know that it's either you network or you don't go forward. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
Mm.
So do you have an idea, or what can you say about the future of networking and collaboration, particularly in the, how technology is been is shaping the way network is being done at this moment, particularly AI that is coming.
Oh wow.
Again, that is, I think that's one thing, one big area that
Yes.
people need to really look into and can
Yes.
still trust one another, because
I
if we
think
are going to be digitally networking,
Yes.
moving away from the physical
Uh,
relationship and action,
yeah.
to digital. I think
Yes.
it's also a dimension one needs to look at.
I will use illustrations to buttress the point so it's clear and it sticks. Technology, AI, social media, and connection, they're not only here to stay, they will continue to evolve and they're catalyst for immense changes. I've already used an example earlier in this discussion.
Yes, yes.
In my time, when I dated and got married, I ran into the person I married in a physical office and saw the person face to face the very first time. And then when I decided we were going to date, I went looking for her and I asked her out. In other words, I was limited to where I circulate physically. But now people can relate who have not even seen each other physically before. They only saw pictures of themselves on social media or dating sites and made a connection and chatted and WhatsApp and then video called and FaceTime and whatever else. So that has not only completely changed the game, it's deepened it, it's widened it beyond recognition from
Exactly.
years ago. As we can illustrate that with something as simple as dating, it's the same for business, it's the same for research, it's the same for academia, it's the same for every other thing. And it's not going to stop. So whoever is not going to catch up with some basic technological literacy and find out how to use these tools is going to continue to recede further back and just not be in the pool or in the train. They will have missed the train actually. They will have missed the ship. They will just be staring at people traveling away and they'll be wondering what happened or what is happening. So yeah, technology is not only key, technology is the driver now, is the catalyst
Yeah, it's
for
driving the
everything, including I
concept.
mean, we're having this discussion, we're not seated in front of each other. It's
Can you imagine?
technology. I'm in the comfort of my bedroom and I'm talking to you. I don't know where you are. You may be in your lounge or in your library or wherever. I'm having in the past, without the technology that enables this, we have had to make an arrangement to meet somewhere. Maybe we'll say we'll meet in central London, sat
I know.
across each other and be talking. That's the only way we will have had this discussion. So that's I don't need to say anymore for people to agree that technology is it. It has
Yeah,
arrived.
it is.
It's
It
here.
is.
Get on board
It is.
or get lost.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir.
You're
Um,
welcome.
on the last note, I've always known, and I think people needs to know that for you to really get to the next level of whatever you do, your endeavor, your professionalism, your expertise, whatever it is you do, your aspiration and progression in life, the key to success includes places, people, and events.
Yeah.
Networking. You can't take that out. No one is an island. Nobody can do it alone. You need people. And then of course I know that too. Is what that means is that we need to be proactive. People need to be proactive and think, and taking initiative which is very crucial in the space of networking and collaboration. So instead of, you said it actually, that instead of passively waiting for opportunities to come your way, you see people, you approach them. You see group or event, you approach them. We should actively pursue them.
Mm.
This could mean contacting potential collaborators, participating in networking events, or volunteering for committee or community assignments by
Mm.
adopting a proactive approach. We position ourselves to seize valuable opportunities and
Mm.
grow our network. It's very important.
Very.
Because of our time,
Yep.
what will be if there's any advice or tools or strategy you would like to give to someone who is so shy, and I carefully use the word shy,
Yeah.
who thinks that, I'm all by myself. I've always done things by myself. I've
Uh,
had my hand burnt and then I don't want to go out again.
uh,
But we know that there's no way they can progress. I put it as if they are shy. If there's any last word
okay.
you want to drop for for those people, what would
My
that be?
my advice is going to be simple. You are only as good as your preparation. You are only as good as your insights. You are only as good as your understanding of your own realities. Anything you've identified as a challenge, a drawback, a weakness, think about them and think, so how do I overcome them? How do I redress them? How do I change them around and proceed? So nobody is born a smooth social connector. When I was younger, I was introverted. So I had mentioned in the course of this discussion that I can compliment anybody, I can talk to anybody. I wasn't born that way. I became that way by being conscious. And perhaps the way I transformed myself from the shy, retreating person into an open conversationalist is to simply ask myself basic questions. What are you afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of. If your intentions are plain and honest, you extend a greeting or a compliment. Worst case scenario, the person you are talking to is a madman or a madwoman who is angry and they said, F off. You just F off. It's simple. Or they get a easy, never mind, or whatever, and you de escalate and walk away. But the great majority of people you encounter are not going to be crazy people anyway. They're just normal other human beings too that would appreciate, oh, he's being friendly or he just said hi. But don't be a nuisance too. If you said hi to somebody and they're not responding for whatever reason, whether they are maybe, for example, very racist and they don't talk to black people, again, you don't have a problem. But you can't let that few tiny demographic stop you from realizing your full potential. The fact that you may encounter people who are so bent and twisted that they cannot say hi to somebody of a different skin hue does not stop you from being your positive self. So I'm
Wow.
trying to address whether anybody is feeling shy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you are still in your teenage, and even if you're a teenager, get to understand what it means. The world really does not revolve around you. The things that terrorize you in your mind that worry you. Oh, what would they say? Oh, if he doesn't answer me back, I'm going to die. You won't die. If they don't answer you back, it's their own problem, not yours. Just smile and go on your way. You have not lost anything. In
Yeah.
fact, you've proven to be a bigger, more mature person by engaging with an idiot who cannot engage in a civilized manner with another human being. So you actually you shouldn't lose any sleep. You shouldn't worry about people and their reaction. But you need to
Wow.
open yourself up and say hi and give
Yeah.
them opportunity to show that they are matured human being worthy of your own relationship in them saying hi back. Yeah, you look nice this morning. Where you off to? I'm off to the office. Oh, good. Where do you work? Keep it natural. If the person opens up and you ask a simple question, they answer back enthusiastically, you can build a discussion. But if they glare at you, good morning, morning, you just know that's the end of it. You the discussion is over. I said, good morning. You growl back at me like a bulldog. Morning. Ah, okay, that's it. End of discussion. If I say hi, oh hi, how are you? Oh, okay. Where you
Yeah.
headed? Central London? Wherever. Make it simple and
Yeah.
just keep it simple. Let it be natural. Let it flow.
Yeah.
And if you don't want that, you don't need to do it either. You can meet other people in different other ways. If you are much more interested in, say, Facebook or such social whatever, you can pace
Mm.
yourself and send invites. And if they answer, hi, lovely to connect with you, or whatever, you may have your chat or whatever else. There is a plethora of
Yeah.
opportunities and platforms and ways and means to get these things done.
Yeah.
Just go about it in a way that builds you up, that edifies you, that puts a smile on your
Yeah.
face, so that
Mm.
you can blossom as a person too. It's not
Exactly.
a a do or die goal to be accomplished. If you
Yeah.
don't chat people up or compliment them or verbally network, you won't die. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
also do it, you won't die. You'll be fine. So just
Mm.
treat it like, yeah, it's one of those things that can happen naturally, like I am breathing. But if
Mm.
it terrorizes you, ask yourself, why am I terrorized by this? If
Yeah.
you've had negative experiences, understand the negative experience you had. Why was that negative? What was the nature of the person I was
Mm.
talking with? What were they going through? So, for example, let me use pluck another example out of the air. You may
Mm.
be going on the street and end up at the train station, and the person you just said good morning to may be coming from a doctor, and the person had just been told he or she has cancer. They're not
Mm.
likely to be smiling back at you.
Mm.
They are, when you say good money, they'll be thinking, what's good about the money? Do you understand? But they wouldn't necessarily
Yeah.
start telling you the long story. They'll just transfer the frustration to you. It's like F off or whatever else.
Mm.
So it's nothing personal. It's not you. It's them.
Mm.
Do you understand? If a person
Yeah.
is aggressive and stupid, it has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do
Mm.
with them. So don't internalize somebody else's identity or problem.
Mm.
Just be sure of who you are and be yourself,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
and grow and flourish. That'll be
Wow.
my layman's
Thank you so
advice.
much. Thank you so much. Um, and people can always move ahead, and they will always find someone and group that they will be comfortable with, settle
Yes,
in, and do
absolutely.
things together and make things
Yes,
happen. It's
yes,
always gonna
absolutely.
happen. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for that.
my
Networking is
pleasure.
good. You cannot overstate it.
Yes,
So, listener, thank you. That is it from our guest. It's been fantastic having you. Thanks so much for the depth and the words and experiences you have shared. Talking about the benefit and the importance of networking and collaboration, where it is going, how advanced it's going to keep being, particularly with the use of technology, how people need to come out regardless of the experiences in the past. It is still the way to go. And the challenges of networking and collaboration can actually be overcome by, with the right mindset. You've said that skills and strategy. Let's know how to cultivate openness, actively expanding our network, honing our communication abilities, and being proactive. Very important. We can harness the power of networking, and collaboration to propel ourselves towards success in our personal, business, and professional life. So let us embrace these challenges and embark on a journey of growth, connections, and fruitful collaborations. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you find them inspiring and informative. If you have any questions, comments, or inquiries, please feel free to visit our website at www.skillsmindset.com. Leave us with a message, and one of our team will reach out to you. Also, please subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss any episodes. I encourage you, therefore, to embrace every moment with courage and optimism, Continue to pursue your dreams with relentless passion. Until next time, take care, chase your goals and with knowledge, and stay focused. Thank you so much, our guests, and to
you.
listeners.